Let's talk about weaknesses. We all have them. We have strengths and we have weaknesses. And normally you would just go, oh, I can't do that. And you wouldn't try and actually move forward and work on your weaknesses, but you need to. So I want to share today some tips on how to actually overcome your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. So stick around. Hi, Tanya Jennings here from Your Economy Lab, and I help entrepreneurs live a life of freedom online and bring in that passive income. Today, we're going to talk about weaknesses. Look, we all have weaknesses. I have many, and I'm sure you do too. But you need to be working on those weaknesses. And we're going to do a bit of an exercise today on how you can actually turn your weaknesses into strengths. We're going to talk about your biggest weaknesses, and grab a pen and paper. We're going to write these down, and you can do this exercise after as well. And we're not going to share this with anyone, so don't worry, it's just for you. I'm not going to, say, oh, you've got to share your weaknesses now. But you want to write down all your weaknesses when it comes to network marketing and online marketing. What are they? And some of the things that I've written down here, it could be presenting. That's a weakness. Handling objection. Social media, you're not too sure about how to navigate around. You have issues closing. You can't recruit. You have problems following up with people. Just be honest. Write all your weaknesses down, because we all have them. And look, and I can share some stories with you. When I used to be in a past life, I was the manager of sport and rec for Cairns Council here in Australia. It's one of the biggest councils in Australia. And I used to build stadiums and manage all the big sporting events and manage over 450 sporting clubs. So at that level, I was going into council meetings. I would often, when they had a council meeting on, I was there with the microphone, and I was answering questions to the mayor and all the councillors and other dignitaries that were there and the public. And I would often have to go into meetings and I would be presenting. I hated presenting. I remember the first few times I presented, I was like, beetroot face. And I just just kill me. I got invited to a women's mentoring group. There was 100 women, and because they'd sort of seen where I'd, started in council and worked my way up. And they said, we want you to come and present and talk about, what you've been able to achieve and what you've done. And I remember standing up there and I was like, I would rather have my head flushed down the toilet than stand up here in front of all of you. And I mean, they all had a laugh about it, but I was like, that is exactly how I feel. But it was a weakness. I had to overcome that. And the only way you overcome that is to consistently work on yourself, consistently do Facebook Lives, consistently, get on webinars and present, get out of your comfort zone. And actually go and do it. And that's what you need to do, is you need to go, okay, what are my weaknesses? Where do I need to work on? What do I need to work on to get better? Get out of your comfort zone and just go, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you're not going to die. People aren't going to make fun of you. And if they do, that's their problem. It's not your problem. Like you've done a good job. Turn your weaknesses into strengths. And the only way you're going to know what your weaknesses are is if you actually write them down, and you can go, okay, where do I need help? What do I need to be improving to actually move my business forward? You want to be vulnerable with your weaknesses as well and your struggles, because people can relate to you. They can relate to you, like if you're vulnerable saying, look, I really struggle presenting, or I have trouble, recruiting people, then go, yeah, I have trouble with that too. You want to be vulnerable with it and constantly working on yourself to be better. You may not be where you want to be, but focus on getting better, because you need to focus on you. It's not about getting more people. It's about going, okay, well, how do I how can I self-develop? How can I develop myself as well and develop my skills? The number one reason you'll fail is lack of focus in yourself and in your business. That is the number one reason people fail, is because they're lacking focus in developing themselves and also in their business. It's having that posture and knowing, where your weaknesses are and just working on them. As Bob said, yeah, just stay plugged in. And Bob, you've hit the nail on the head there, is staying plugged in. And I know that's a big thing when I started online. When you're sort of starting out, and a lot of you here are probably new online and you're sort of going, oh, I want to share this, but I'm not too sure what to do. Stay plugged into the groups, because I know when I started out online, that was a massive thing for me, because I felt like when you're online, and particularly you're working from home, it's just you. And you haven't got that community and that camaraderie behind you. But if you're plugged into the group, you feel we're one big happy family. And that's how I feel here. It's amazing. I know some of your kids' names and, what you guys do. It's like we're all best friends, but most of us have never met. And it makes a big difference, is because you can have your ear to the ground, what's going on. And someone asks you a question, you go, yeah, I know, I can answer that. And you know where things are at. And you keep immersed in the training. Keep training, keep feeding this, because that is 90% of your success. And I've shared this story before, like when my ex-husband and I had the books on Amazon, we had 8, well, they're still there. They're just not with me, they're with him. 8 best-selling books on Amazon. He's the author now. I didn't watch any TV for a whole 12 months to get those books on Amazon. But it created us a 5-figure a month income from nothing. So anything's possible. You've got the choice. You can go, oh, okay, no, I just want to sit down and watch Netflix. Or you can go, no, I'm going to get off my butt and I'm going to actually work my business. Because you just do like one year, even 1 year of just hard work. Who cares if you miss out on 1 year of TV? The next year, you can watch as much TV as you want, because you've built this amazing business and it just keeps duplicating. You've got to keep building it, but it may not be as hard in year 2. Writing all your weaknesses down, being brutally honest with yourself and just working on them and working on you. And then you can help your team as well, and giving you stuff that you can actually implement. It's not fluff. It's going, okay, implement it. So learn something and implement. And that's how you actually move forward. You're just moving that needle forward every single day. You're just doing something. So I hope you got some value out of that, and I'll catch you on the next video. All right. Bye for now.